So I read the article Shakespeare in the Bush. It the main idea recounts of anthropologist Laura Bohannan's attempt to tell Shakespeare's Hamlet to elders of the Tiv people in West Africa. She initially believes that the play's meaning is universal, but as she narrates the story in their setting, the others are repeatedly reinterpret events according to the central beliefs there. This experience reveals that cultural framework shapes how narratives are understood. How the article um, illustrated the impact of worldview and interpretation of cultural meanings. The article shows that the worldview profoundly shapes how people interpret things, and Bohannan assumes Hamlet's themes are universally understood, which are the ghosts, revenge, and familial obligations. And the Tiff elders instead explain ghostly appearances as witch sent omens and reinterpret character motives through their belief systems. Their worldview reframes a story, demonstrating that meanings are not fixed, but constructed within cultural contexts. To identify and analyze one ethnocentric bias within the article, one of the bias is from Bohannan's assumption is that Hamlet contains universal human themes, easily translatable across cultures. She underestimates just how deeply cultural norms influence the narrative interpretation. This bias reflects her Western perspective on literature and human nature, leading her to believe that her cultural lens is the default for understanding storytelling, which it is not. Because how our culture sees things is how we are going to also interpret those things. How the story challenges the notion that one's cultural values are normal or best. The story challenges cultural self-centeredness by showing that the Tiv elders' interpretations of Hamlet are coherent within their own belief systems. Bohannan's expectations about ghosts, marriage, revenge are repeatedly contradicted, forcing her to reconsider the assumption that Western values represent the norm. It highlights that no single cultural view inherently holds the best interpretation. A unique norm or tradition in my own culture is social media and social expectations through stuff. And one thing that is seen on social media is tipping people, and that is now kind of considered a normal thing in America. And it's also seen as normal in other countries, as when I went to Punta Cana, I got to see that, and how they really live off of tips in that area, because the wages down there, they don't get paid as much because of the fact that the owners the companies kind of don't care. So they live off of tips and not their main wage. And it's just from some outside cultures, tipping may just seem kind of weird or confusing. And a best practice is practicing cultural humility, being able to be humble about knowing that your cultural beliefs aren't going to be the same beliefs that everyone else has. And we gotta always remember this. We gotta be grounded in the fact that we have our own beliefs, but other cultures will have other views on those beliefs or just their own beliefs in general. And as Christians, we also have to respect other people's beliefs because we can't just force feed people. We must just pray for them because we can't really just force our religion onto people because they'll either take it the wrong way or they'll just really not enjoy it. So, yeah. And a personal experience that I've had of cultural misunderstanding is that I didn't know that Punta Cana was mostly Christian and that they have a lot more Christianity. Like, they're very Christian based. Like, I thought I was going down to a place that had like more gang violence, like because it's in Central America. I had that same assumption because I've seen other like I've seen videos of the culture down there, how it's like rough. I thought it was gonna be a lot more rough, but it was beautiful how great and it was crazy just how like much they were just like thriving even if they weren't in the greatest situation. Like those people were happy there. And like Bohannan, I just assumed that because I'd seen stuff and believed it, or read stuff and believed it, and didn't really take time to really see what their side of the story was until I had actually gone down there in person, which is the same thing that Bohannan saw. And the most significant lesson that about worldview from this that I can learn is that interpretation is culturally embedded, and that we cannot assume meanings. We cannot assume that they're all shared. Bohannon experiences that a lot, and I experienced that in Punta Cana. So, like, we can't just think that our beliefs are the only beliefs that exist. We must expand that. We must see other worldviews. We must go out and experience the world. Get out of our comfort zones. Because I was kind of like nervous about it, and then I went and did it. But yeah, that's all I've got.